Welcome back. I try to say everyone welcome back at the same time. These two have me cracking up during the break. My bad. Welcome back, everyone.
Everyone, welcome. Hi.
Fans, stop. This is already your fault. We don't need to get further into it. Lemon Kiwi is here too, the non-problem child of the desk. But no, we've already gotten to see a great series be starting off the day. M80 to take the win 2-0 over TSM, but still one more series up ahead of us. QOR going up against Together We Are Terrific. And once we get into these, maybe these aren't the big names that we've gotten to see in that last series, but I'm still really excited because the whole thing about Challengers is we get to see this developing talent, and we got to see so much out of different players last year that are now these players that we consistently talk about. So this is still an exciting time, Lemon.
I'm so excited because exactly, this is a platform for people to grow, maybe for people to prove they're not washed or that they are washed, or I don't know. But I think the head coach of QOR, Ocean, has a really great philosophy about this team. His team released a video and an interview. You guys should go check that out. But he basically purposely chose inexperienced players. His words. Chose inexperienced players with good attitudes that wanted to grow. This is like one of their first challenger splits together. And he said that just like new players approach opportunities like this with like such an open mind and such a learnable environment. So QOR is really looking, he said it took 4 to 5 months to get the team up to speed. He feels like he's starting from scratch, but he has a lot of confidence and he had to make tough decisions to build this roster. So Ocean has a lot of confidence, and if he likes this roster, I do too.
But hearing that kind of reminds me of what kind of like Potter does with EG at the same time, right? Because you are also picking players for an EG roster that is not necessarily the cream of the crop, if I could put it that way, as like, oh, each player should be signed like $1 million to really get into a roster play like EG. Like, I have that money anyways, but it doesn't matter. But she's still able to mold a team to success, and Ocean definitely did that with the Pittsburgh Knights in the past over in Challengers, and he's kept one of those players as well, being Zip as the veteran for the team, able to build such a strong team. But when you're looking back at QOR at this time too, this is also a roster that I'm looking forward to, because just as Lemon Q was mentioned before, players that are potentially washed or not, no, I think this is an opportunity to wash up the rust, you know, that built up on you, because we haven't seen a couple of these players play in a very long time, such as Mame, such as Neptune, Coach Shinobi on top of that as well. That is a heavy pedigree of players that actually existed when Valorant first came out, and they actually put up a huge impact in that competitive scene back then.
Yeah, Nerve, Ziff, Ocean have known each other from way back, years even I guess on teams like DSG or Knights Academy. So you love that you find yourselves back on a team in Challengers, hoping to prove yourselves as a unit. And then I look towards some of the personalities that are meshing here. I've been hearing that Ziff is, cool, relaxed, calm, collected. And you got T-Dog, who's yapping away, the vocal sofa player, ready to talk trash. I love I might even be biased with this team. I might even go hang out with them because they're actually based in Vegas. So
no caster bias on my desk.
QOR jersey.
We're cutting this off. We're cutting this off. You're banned. Stop this. We're talking about the other team now. Fans, you already started talking about some of these members on Together We're Terrific. And looking at this team, I mean, we're talking about players and challengers that are looking to move up. And this team already had, I wouldn't call it quite a scare, because it's not a scare. It's exciting times if a player is leaving. But they had a player leave right before their season starts, bringing up this one tweet. We have to talk about the departure of Icy here, who, quote, leaves us for a better opportunity. Look, they even put the sad face. Icy's gone, man.
I actually love this tweet, because if you read that second line and it says, quote, tweet unrelated, it was actually an old HLTV tweet from like his CSGO days, where he's like, yeah, Icy has a lot of potential, but makes a lot of mistakes. So it's a nice little banter for Icy, but props to him, right? Icy switched out from CSGO to come into Valorant, and he joined the EG reserve, made his mark, and basically has had a chance to really play in partnership, maybe potentially under EG, but now rumors has that he has the potential to play it under G2 now at this point. So more power to him. He's gone through the grind, he's done it, and now they have to find a way or a player to replace him. And we thought it was going to be Nilly Arizona that was going to be able to just fit in as that sixth player for Together We Are Terrific, but they came out with a new fifth.
Yeah, Ken Pecky got on the phone and said, I know a guy. and a guy named Will. Will, our Canadian boy, joins this roster at the last second. Like, signed today. You see the tweet. Oh, by the way, we got Will. And you thought Nilly was stepping up, and I 100% assume you would have the substitute that Nilly, to come in for that. But anyway, Will and Kanpeki actually know each other from this most recent qualifier. They competed together under the banner of Lucky 7. It was a rough go, but hey, there's some synergy there.
I have to say, my favorite part of this tweet is newest, like emphasis on the ist, and surely it'll be our last, because Proto was actually a part of this roster first before getting picked up. We just got to see him in the last series. He's moving on to some great things. So they already then, all right, we gotta figure out a fifth. They figured out a fifth. Now AC's moving on, and so now they have Will in. So there's definitely a lot of shuffling. So coming out of the gate, I'm excited to see individual player performances, but I have to say, as stocked together as a team, I'm definitely looking more at this team as a week 3 potential. If they come out of the gate here, I think this will be really exciting. But this is a lot thrown at them in very little time.
And Will comes in as primarily a duelist player from, quote, a team called Fast Food Workers. So very honest there, but was a duelist player there and also a secondary controller. So I think he could fill out well on this team. And if he is coming in as the duelist, I don't know how he's slotting himself in, if he wants to restructure the team. We don't really know much about who's playing what, but if he does come in as the duelist, though, as a last second option, that's a lot of pressure to come in and perform, because duelist has to pop off or your team is kind of screwed.
Yeah, that's the big question mark too for this roster. I think very similar to TSM is like, what's the rules for the roster for the compositions? Because Mame also very vocally, or when we saw it when he was playing under Together We're Terrific, the original roster, as well as Envy, he was opting a lot, but on Astra, on Omen, he really wanted to play some Jet. Never had a chance to. You gave that role to somebody else. But with Will coming in, is he going to play the Raze? But he's played a bit of controller too. So who's going to play what? But also, at the end of the day, I noticed that you mentioned that they might be able to pick it up in like round week 3 or so. I unfortunately have to be a little bit harsher, despite me loving these guys. I think they're probably going to be a team that's going to fight for relegation at this point, because it's so new in terms of what they're bringing to the plate. Yes, Shinobi has a great mind to the game, but they have so much to work on, with especially a last-minute sub to come in and play the rest of Challengers for Split 1. They're going to have to be on the drawing board every single week and fight some very close games every single week if they want to prove a point here.
Well, hopefully they can prove a doubter on this desk here wrong. At least if we can see, I'm looking for the promise of the team. I'm looking to see what these players can bring to the table. So even if this series, no matter how it falls, if we get to see that potential, I'm going to be happy at the end of the day. But heading into our map picks and bans for this series that we have here ahead of us, we're going to start things off with a nice tropical vacation for us Canadians over here, because you are taking us to Breeze. Breeze is always such a fun map to watch, in my opinion. Just, I don't know, I feel like some teams just really come alive. You get to see those long range shots. It can be fun, even though it can be definitely a little controversial on that take.
I think Breeze is tough on the Cypher players, though. You got to hold it down usually all by yourself at one side, and you're on this island, but so usually help comes your way. And I don't think QOR are going to need much help, because they looked very comfortable on Breeze when it came to their qualifier 1 and 2 run. They're 2-0 on this map, 100% win rate, and very dominant wins against Blinn Esports and Wook's Academy. So I think this pick for QOR makes a lot of sense.
I actually find it quite interesting that they've picked a map like Breeze, because especially when I said like Together We're Terrific, they have to be a team that almost has to pug it out in the first few weeks, because it's so new in terms of this team that they built together, that playing a map like Breeze just allows for you to have a couple of players that could just op you and out-diff you in terms of aim. Yes, when it comes down to me downing a little bit in terms of the promise that TWT could bring out here for this Challengers, they still have great firepower overall and good ways to play individualistic plays, to be able to win some gunfights and maybe turn those rounds over on your side. At least I love that the map vetoes, they banned out Ascent against QOR, because that was probably the strongest map that QOR had. Exactly. And you know that when it was Ziff, Slow is Cool, and also Ocean on the board here at the helm to try to build out this type of synergy and out-of-the-world Sage composition that they had on Ascent for the longest time, and being undefeated for so many maps, you definitely know that they wanted to cook some more stuff up there on Ascent.
I guess the only thing I worry about is maybe like agent flexibility from someone like T-Dog. I mean, they are structured. They know, everybody knows their roles on that team for core. And it's just T-Dog plays like Sova 80% of the time.
Yeah.
And so you pick a map that would favor him. And great agent, very good looking too. And great on Ascent, which you would love to go to, but gonna start on Breeze. And I'm wondering if the Sova main is ever gonna suffer on maps that Sova isn't so great on.
Yeah, I could see that. It has happened though that I've seen some Sova plays on a map like Lotus, where I think even Northwood kind of used that over in the collegiate side to be able to find some good lineups to take control of Rubble with the rest, maybe use some good recons above the Viper walls, but you got to be quick on those lineups. But again, T-Dog, even though he's very good on a Sova, I wouldn't be surprised if he plays like a Breach or a Sky or something like that for the rest of the team for Lotus as well. So I think they're still in pretty good hands in terms of this agent composition. I almost feel that Core is a lot more complete in terms of comfort and roles and agent pool that you have for each of these players, especially when you've mentioned here, Jen, that Ocean picked out players that are willing to win and willing to adapt into different types of play styles. So I wouldn't be surprised if they tried different roles or different agents rather to fit still a winning recipe for Core.
I want to throw a hardball for both of y'all, because Vans was already with his honesty of, looking at this TWT squad, I think they're a team that's going to be fighting for relegation, not to be losing their spot here. Mm-hmm. When we're looking at this core roster, I mean, we've already talked about the highlights of the team, the players, what we've gotten to see from them through OQs, but this is a really stacked challengers that we have ahead of us. We've already gotten to see some really talented teams. We know the caliber of some of these teams. So whereabouts do we think this team stacks up, not just against this team that Vance is already, this is where I think they lie, but how do we think they fit in the overall scheme of challengers, the split?
Well, I'll just rely on what Ocean said, and he said he knows the team. I don't. And Ocean said he doesn't think there's a team they can't beat. I think he alluded to in the interview that when they can focus on their play style, their planning, and they don't have to make crazy adjustments, they think they're strong enough to beat anybody. But their weakness and where inexperience can show is in these panic situations, maybe these 11-11 score lines or overtime, stuff like that. And you gotta not wait for your IGL. You gotta go for the play yourself. That's when inexperience can hurt the team. And so if Core can instill, or Ocean can instill that confidence in his players to go for those plays, and maybe they don't even have to worry about those stressful situations. If they can stick to their game plan and get ahead early, maybe they don't have to stress themselves out.
Yeah, if anything, for me, I could make it even more simple, and that is you're looking at your group A. There's 6 teams per group. So if you're looking at the top 5 teams make it through. And if you're looking at the group, it's Moistex Shopify, YFP, themselves, Thinking Men, and Oxygen Gaming. So if anything, I feel that Core could still be 5th and still be good to go along through playoffs against a team like Together We're Terrific. Although, if they lose this series today, though, against Together We're Terrific, then that changes my whole perception of the potential that TWT could already bring off the rip here in week 1.
Yeah, we'll have to see if there's anything in this series that can be changing that perspective, whether it's for the good or the worst here, as we do have our agent select ahead of us for our very first map. So I'm going to send Lemon Silly off to war. I'll catch up with you guys after.
Bye, Van Silly. Have fun at war.
Wait, what did you say bye to me?
Oh, she's sending you to somewhere.
Oh, but Lemon Silly sounds like a very nice, silly, sour thing, right? Like a Sour Patch or something like that.
Yeah, well, Together We Are Terrific. You were talking about, there may be, who knows if they can stay in the top 5. But the name says Together We Are Terrific. It doesn't say Together We Have to Win.
That's true.
Or we are going to,
Facts.
Together We Are going to lose. That would be a longer acronym. But Facts.
But yes, indeed. And looking at it so far, too, even in terms of the question marks that we had in terms of what they're going to do for roles and whatnot. So you are going to put Will in this permanent Jet role, or at least trying to bring the role of the Jet back instead of trying to play controller when he was trying to grind that tier 2 scene after losing his position as like a raised over 100 Thieves back then. But then Mummy is going to have to play a Cypher, although I'm not against that because we've seen a shift of operators going back to what worked in the past, or what works now, that was tested in the past by forerunners like Mummy, an op on an Omen, an op on an Astra. And speaking of Astra, this is coming out from Pancakes as well. So there's going to be a lot of ruckus going into the executions of Together We're Terrific for retakes and also for site hits that Core has to be ready for. And they're getting ready for an A-site hit to start things off. I mean, they're looking to move this quite quickly because Nerve is already set up to go for a wall, and 4 of them are looking for a Recon Dart punish, quick push up into shops.
Well, Kanpeki was the one who recommended Will and knows his potential. And hey, Jet Duelist, probably one of the easiest roles you could just kind of slot into. Hey guys, I'm smoking, I'm dashing in, follow me. And Core, well, they're the ones who are actually going in. And they've got the plant down. Kanpeki putting down some suppressing fire through the smoke. Now with cages up, it's the battle through the pyramids, and it's a first pick by Zeldris, and Core have time on their side. They got the spike planted, they got real estate, and TWT don't know what to do.
And even enough time to set up here on the pulse point before the wall came down. This is big for them.
Okay, Kanpeki, good swing, Mame helping out, and Core only have 2 left, 2 versus 3. It is winnable. Kanpeki is going to get the defuse to half, and whoa. Looking to God on that one. Good lineups, and Zeldris pops out. Defuse being procced, and Zeldris finishes off in style with 3.
And that is a player we didn't have a chance to speak about yet during the pregame. It's Zeldris, an up-and-comer, potential to make it into partnership, a diamond in the rough pretty much, and put up some great numbers under OR last season, and this time dashing to break the timing off the knife that was thrown in the front, gets forward control, and even clutches in after these skills to get the dash in. Great delays coming out from Kanpeki, and it's a great way here for Core to start things off, playing lineups on the pulse plan, not allowing TWT to set up here on their retake, and they're forced on an eco in round number 2.
Okay, Recon Bolt to the right side of the A site, not pinging much. It is going to force that Cypher of Mame back. And this will be a free plant for Core. They just got to keep eyes on mid. They've already seen the rotations, and I could even see the pixels. I need a better eye prescription to get kills like that. It's Zeldris putting the kills down. 3, by the way. And Core are looking fabulous.
Farm them up right now so that Zeldris could potentially get Blade Storm, AZ, and off on the attack side and really open things up for Core in round number 4 or 5 here going into this first half. A great push forward coming out on the attack once again. Imitation. It's mirror matched, and what they did on that first round to just bust in towards that A site and get that plant down. And Zeldris, there you go, farming 1 away from an orb, 1 away from Blade Storm on top of that, and can still get another Vandal this time around and a healthy buy going into the next. So that now is going to put Core in a different type of state of mind in round number 3, it's looking like they're going to default a little bit more to try to see how they could fight. For TWT, potential flash to peek towards the main, but it's only Will with a Vandal. Are they going to try to go for a pick this way? And no, it's just going to be to react behind a knife and then push forward.
I was going to say, it won't work a 3rd time, right, for Core? Like, they got to change it up. TWT had to stack more on the A site just to try and have this stop. As Core going through this hallway that has now been cleared up thanks to the most recent patch, or that patch that happened. Now Core just all the way towards the back. The spike ain't even with them. They're hunting for blood, and they hear Pancakes running about, but I don't think Pancakes, just spotted them at the last second, but there's 2 there, and Core 2v1 overwhelmed that. And they start throwing some flashes down towards A, and TWT are looking to where those flankers are.
Yeah, and unfortunately there was a great opportunity to time and get a backstab onto TWT on the A defense, but that spike was still down towards the bottom mid. They couldn't react off the first pick that they've gotten. But look at how passively you have to play towards this site now, towards the spawn for the defenders. This still gives a lot of room here for Core to group up and work together on its A-side split, where it's only Neptune right now working this map. But again, Neptune's Vietnamese. He could pop off.
30 seconds left.
Right? All right, it's all up to you. Van's Vietnamese brother, but the Cypher, man, everybody is holding it down. I mean, you stopped a lurker from B, TWT only had 1 defender on A, and they're able to trade it out in time for rotations to come in. There's only 11 seconds left, and Core don't even have the spike. It's all up to Snarly in a 1 versus 2, and they gotta act quickly, and they can't. That's 3 for Kanpeki.
anchoring alone on 4 players pinching against him, and he gets 2 on top of that, and it delayed long enough for the rotates to come through. Well done there by Neptune. Of course, like I said, it was jokes aside, he's definitely a player that can really step up to the plate here, has done a great job on his very map. I can remember him casting him when he was in the LCQ with FaZe Clan in 2021, where, you know, that event almost didn't happen. Technically, we had to bring it back online, but that's a different story. But definitely coming back here with fruition, rather, and helping TWT to get that round against QOR's bonus. Although it looks scary to start things off for QOR with the opening pick that they got towards the back of the halls, but they had to really take down the anchor player, Neptune, on that A site when they pinched in on that area.
I wonder if QOR are going to go back to a faster execute, because they made A site take look real easy. Just dashing in off of Zeldris, who gets like 6 kills within 2 rounds. And TWT just did not know how to retake because they were getting picked off by Zeldris, who was watching the mid cut. But now that QOR are going more to a default, TWT kind of have a chance to contend with the macro of rotating to each site and where their presence is. So QOR, I guess it's not a timeout, but they have time to talk.
Technically,
and think about.
Yeah, usually you can't, but I mean, it's online. Who knows? Who can control that, really,
all right? Telepathically, then. Got the neural link going.
If anything, though, I do agree with you about the aggression coming out from QOR this time around, because we talked about that economy building in the ult going into this round for Zeldris, right? You've lost a gun round, you've lost a bonus, but you could still buy around the rest of QOR. And with the way you've been playing aggressively on that A side from pistol to second round, when you have a much lower buy or the odds are against you, or you have a heavy advantage against your opponents, you're going to go for something aggressive. So he's going to have Blade Storm this time around, and potentially here we're going to look for some way to disable this utility set up by Mame in towards this B site and have Zeldris hopefully open things up for QOR to take over this B site.
And maybe QOR can try and execute over at B. They haven't really tested those waters. They've only had a lurker there that got dealt with, and QOR were not successful there. But man, this is a quick mid approach. The owl drone there, and Ziv picking off one from the tunnel is big. TWT have to rethink how they progress through that A side. And also QOR have Zeldris, Blade Storm rolling up mid, seeing what's up at B, putting the pressure down, and that is another pick by QOR to stop any flankers from getting through mid.
Ziv with the big brain, the first blood, and then anticipating a second walkout from Halls to get the second kill onto Will. And you talked about QOR or TWT having to reassess a little bit after that first kill. It's QOR doing the same thing. Originally, you wanted to go aggressively towards the B site, but having that first opener and a second one to confirm an open A site, it's easy for you to pivot back towards an A site plant. And even then, potentially, you have an instant save for the last 3 players of TWT.
Well, QOR, spike planted, and look at this long flank from KenPeki. Hope you got the good branded sneakers on, because your team needs you fast, and they won't see this coming. At least KenPeki looks like they're cutting noise, so
they can.
will TWT, they so taking hard. Too much time.
It's just so hard to retake a 5-on-3 with no information, especially your camera set up on the B site. Your knife, yes, maybe could get a little bit of information of in the radius of knife of where your opponents could be, but you have to retake a site against at this level with how these players are set up for crossfires. KenPeki, the best he can do is exit kills, and then now that he gives his position away, he might die from it. Yep.
Oh, you called it. Man.
Oh, you know.
3 versus 5. I know, economy, guns, money, whatever. But I really believed in that Viper flank, KenPeki. I thought you were cooking something cool. But this map is rather large. It takes a lot of time to run around. And if you want to cut noise, it takes even longer. So QOR, pretty much flawless on these A-site takes.
Yeah, might continue this way too. As I've mentioned, when you have stronger weaponry against a lower buy, you're just going back to the pistol round. The dash moving forward for Zeldris, pop flash, but there's 3 players here. 1 down, 2 down, it's over.
Like that? Zeldris is just that guy. He dashes in, you called out the players, and he said who? I don't see nobody. Only corpses. Make that 3 for Zeldris. Is he smurfing? Zeldris is kind of smurfing this lobby.
I wish he was smurfing my rank games. This guy's awesome. Help me out.
You'll have to call him out for the duo queue.
Get me out of Elo hell. Zeldris, please. Slide in my DMs.
Headshot.
I mean, there's not even that much to analyze when Core get to dash in and kill 3. Even when TWT try to adjust and play more forward at the archway to cut them off, it's Core just better.
They've tried. They had 3 players out there, and when you looked at round number 1 and 2, I don't think there was a pop flash that followed over the bricks. All they did was throw the recon dart towards the right side of the palm tree, and I even think it was knife actually at the entrance. I could be wrong on that one if I recall correctly, but if not, that pop flash really dominated. Together were terrific on their attempt to try to shut down Zeldris's dash. So well done on that call. A little switch there on the fly, and allows Core to get a lead by 3. And now they default again. Opportunity though for Together we are terrific to finally turn around over on their side, turn the map over on their side. They have a knock for Will. They have a pit out already. So an opportunity to really shut it down and start rolling the momentum back in their favor and hopefully closing the gap.
Yeah, that's gonna lock down B pretty good, especially with some extra utility in there. So I think from the Astra. So Core, I mean, they tried to spray through just to see if the Viper would be silly enough to peek. And speaking of silly enough to peek, TWT maybe having more success going through this tunnel. Last time they got double killed by Core trying to be cheeky. So they have a one-man advantage.
Like I
TWT,
said,
they don't have to really rush.
If you quote-unquote have to pug it out at some point on a map like this, and you have what it takes in terms of aim at this level for TWT along this whole roster, then it's okay for you to just aggro and ego want to fight back into the halls and win that one, right? It goes 50-50 at this point who's going to win it from time to time at this level when it comes down to aim duels. So it's nice that they score first blood. This is pivoting Core into the B site, where they might throw a Hunter's Fury if they're able to put him towards the ladder.
Zeldris over top, backhands Kanpeki, deals with the pit, and TWT didn't see this coming. Oh, what an op shot by Will, holding it down at mid. 13 seconds left. Core need to get this plant going ASAP. That Cypher will do so, and they got to keep their eyes on mid, and TWT keep picking them off. And now Neptune 2, Core went the route least traveled by and got crunched.
What a round there coming out by Will to start things off. I mean, the play was perfect for Core. Dash over and actually try to take down Kanpeki. Even if Zeldris died, it gives a ping to know where the opponent is, so you could get a Hunter's Fury kill. Zeldris got the kill instantly, so you could focus the Hunter's Fury elsewhere to get pings elsewhere around the map. Yet, the op kill coming out from Will really foiled the plans that Core was trying to do on their site take towards B, and then they were able to flood back perfectly. And Will, the first kill that he gets in this game was an important one, and he's going to start steamrolling from here.
Neural theft for Mame, if he can just get one pick. And he's actually anchoring over at the A site instead of B, hoping to push up, get something from looking at mid, pinging something, maybe hearing something at Core, from Core at mid. But this spike is traveling. As Core go back to their default.
They still have great cover everywhere. So far, they're just afraid of a timing up towards Nest, which is why you still have pancakes towards the spawn archway, watching towards the spawn, while Will was repositioned to watch the tunnels. So that part in the middle of the map is still a big question mark in the Nest. And Core has an opportunity to really flood in this A site because they're playing so passively from B until Mame spots the first. And that might now start initiating the rotate over.
Snarly at 4 HP after getting wall bang there for a second. Core try to make their way through mid, and they're pushing through mid. They want to crunch on the TWT, but Mame is that anchor that you can depend on, and now he's at the back site waiting for rotations. The spike has been planted, and it's a 4 versus 3 in favor of that defense. And I think Zeldris can pop out and surprise him. But now with the neural theft from TWT, they know where Zeldris is, and that is the threat you got to worry about. But you only have momentary information, and Will comes out on top with the op, and Mame swings for the third kill. And Nerve, can you prevent the defuse? Nope.
That is so nice by Mame. We mentioned how they were thinned out across the map on the defense for Mame and Neptune. Neptune was pushed all the way out towards A main, which kind of left Anthony, Mame, alone here towards this A site. I can call him Anthony. I know him like that, you know. But he was playing alone towards the A site and still is able to get 2 kills, a hat, information for the team, a 3rd kill on 5 HP. And that's why Mame was like one of the top players, at least when Valorant first came out, and was scouted there by FNS and played under this Together We Are Terrific banner initially before they joined Envy. And Mame, it seems like he's never skipped a beat.
Never skip leg day, because they be running into the site. And QOR, they go back to the tried and true. Dash in, kill, go next. Then what a flash from that KO of Neptune. And he was a 1-to-1 trade. Neural theft this time from the offense. QOR hoping to plant, but now that all the defenders are here, how can you be comfortable? Mame just keeps getting picks for TWT and evening up these numbers in their favor. Now a 3rd one? A 4th one? This back-to-back rounds for Mame absolutely popping off. And QOR are all depending on Zeldris.
They're counting bullets.
1, 2, 3, 4. I can't count this much. Oh, a little dance. A little shimmy. Jiggle peek. But there's 2 there, unfortunate.
Yeah, that was definitely his last dance right there for Zeldris with that last full pod that he had towards the bricks. But yes, you've mentioned it. Highlight reel once again for Mame, playing it from the rail at that point. Even if, so you actually see here from QOR, the way that they're hitting towards the A site, they actually do the pop flash consistently. So my mistake on the first few rounds. So that's how they adapted TWT. They stayed away from the flash. They wanted to flash back against the Viper wall to surprise the opponents of QOR walking into the site, yet Neptune still died. But because Mame is able to do heroic plays like that, they kept the dream alive and tied the game 4-4, which now puts QOR in a position where they don't want to rush anymore towards this A side and continue this forward B mid control where they're able to get at least some sort of pick at the beginning of the round. Even the orb missed there on the top nest, so that could have been very punishing, and thankfully nobody's playing there for TWT.
And QOR just owl drone through B, and there's so many little corners, and there's the whole left side of the wall you gotta take a look at. There's so many places to hide on that site, so QOR didn't get much information. Maybe you know that they're playing at the back site, so trying to see what she can do mid, gets pinged by the Cypher camera, so T-Dog's gonna take a chill pill. And QOR, I mean, have free control of mid. They can cut through anywhere.
And that's how TWT is currently playing, and QOR is reading it, right? They're not putting so many trips in the back of hallways, which allows here this consistent alert coming out towards the A-holes. And also why TWT is consistently playing so passively towards the back of the spawn. So this allows QOR to initiate a little bit more towards the elbow. They broke the camera already, so they have an opportunity to flood this B site.
Why destroyed?
30 seconds left.
Zeldris testing the waters, jumps out, gets fragged by Mame, who so far is fragging out of his mind for DWT in several rounds in a row. If his presence is there, this defense holds on. This QOR didn't want the smoke at B, tried to cross to A, costing them some bodies.
10 seconds
But hey,
left.
they got the crunch, and there's 8 seconds left. 2v2, spike in hand, neural theft by Mame as he tries to spray through the cage. And QOR don't have time to plant.
All right, they all died at least there for TWT, but there was no time to plant for QOR, where they took too long to try to finally focus to work towards the A side as they went for some sort of pivot towards B, sell a fake, and then run back towards the A side. But no matter where they go, it seems that they have to go head-to-head against Mame every single time, and Mame's always good for that 1-2 that just shuts down any plan that QOR currently has. This guy's on fire so far in the last 3 rounds, and he's really directing the pace right now for TWT, or at least for this game on the first half. So I got to commend Mame right there.
Yeah, he's been holding it down defensively, and I think QOR are starting to figure out how difficult this match actually might be, despite facing so many unknowns. The silver lining for TWT is that they are unknown. There is no tape. You don't know what to expect out of them. And QOR were able to come in and stomp on their A site takes, trying to test those waters. And now that they're getting some difficulties, not always winning their gunfights between Zeldris and Mame, or dealing with that Cypher on site, QOR have to rethink their approach.
They definitely do have to rethink their approach, as they can't really cross the line of scrimmages into these sites anymore ever since TWT got their off out for Will. That said, they still have plenty of money for TWT to buy another op here. So as they shut down one portion of the map with the operator, they're funneling everybody else towards Mame's rifle. So now it's just on core. Should we try to find some way to just fight the op instead and just use that opportunity to take over a site from that kill? And it starts off with mid control, and the op is currently watching towards the A halls, where, as I mentioned before, where they don't really place trips in the back. They're allowing Ziff to lurk up a lot. They just want to post up a player there to just try to eliminate that lurk early in the round.
Ooh, TWT, though, don't have any eyes on mid as core try to see what's up at B, and it's a good start. You deal with Will, who's been having a hard time having that same impact that Zeldris has had, and with that one-man advantage, core gonna send a drone at A and see where is Mame, because that is the real threat. And thinking, well, A looks pretty empty, or they're hidden.
Yeah.
And that's the stress you got to deal with.
And this is the good thing right now, though. They stack 3 players towards the B site, so they're gambling this and playing outside the radius of a null command that Snarly currently has. So if they're actually choosing core to split towards this B site with the null command, you still have some deadly trips. They're going to put up this Viper wall where TWT is not going to run with any information into the site. It allows kill trips to happen for TWT until this hat comes out. And then, bye-bye, that's strat.
Well, we'll see if the bald buff happens with the neural theft. Core had already used Owl Drone. Now with the neural theft, they confirm A site is, well, it's not hidden, it's empty. And they can get a free plan. They do so with time to spare. That's good to see. TWT now hope to cross through mid, and Core have control of it and continue to hold on thanks to that pick from Ziff. And it's a 5 versus 2. Kanteki has to be careful. He wants to conserve that op. But coming to the side is Nerve, who's on the flank. And I don't think he knows and takes care of that opper. And there's only one left.
They can't save it. They can't save the op. At least hopefully they'll save this Vandal, as you could still have a decent buy on the next round for TWT, despite them losing this round here. But I loved the look here from Core that they just slowed down the pace, knowing that TWT's been very, very probably momentum shifted after winning those few rounds out from Mame. They actually allowed TWT to continue with the aggression, with the confidence that they had, and immediately punish Will off the peak that he had on the top of the A-nest, spotted by 3 guys, and using the neural theft for all the information to really pivot the round back in favor of Core. So very well done off the timeout here that Ocean called for the team.
Yeah, because Core had a hard time just getting information, knowing where people are, and then making a decisive move towards either side. When they had mid control, now you have too many options to deal with.
Yeah.
And with kind of Neptune just casually fragging out there at the end when it didn't matter, he is one away from null command. So we'll see if that'll have an impact. Core already been revealed going through this tunnel, and Neptune is ready. This is a different approach from Core, moving through mid, but hoping to have a more decisive push this time.
They're just leading up here. They're hoping for another aggressive peak coming out from TWT. But all they want to do is work the extremities here, focusing more on the entrance of the camera to look towards main. Mummy's going to break this Owl Drone or stay into Cubby. He's going to stay hidden. So that's a good spot for him right now. He's pretty much at a one and done at this point. Snarly's walking forward. Oh, he just got spotted.
Kind of a panic flick there, and the cage came up just in time. But who's really cage? Oh, there's actually a crack in that cage, so Snarly gets the kill after all. A 5v4. Null command activated, and ooh. Now there's so much space for Core. They've just dominated everyone they've seen. So this will be an easy plan for B, and I don't think Pancakes or will want to say much about it.
Yeah. One of a rare miss here coming out from the star fragger of Mummy on this first map, as a misplaced cage doesn't allow for him to escape. He already burnt out his 2 cages, and he definitely felt that Core was pinching in from both angles, and he was trying to at least isolate 1 kill, but he had no support coming out from the ANS. It was a little bit too late to at least go for the trade, and that just allowed Snarly to open things up here. A newcomer for Core, by the way, who hasn't really had any type of real team experience going into this one. So when Ocean talks about one player or players that he's trying to bring in and coach, I mean, Snarly's probably the best example here, because everybody else that you see here on the right side of your screen has been grinding this tier 2 scene for the longest time, and they've built that experience and are familiar with any type of opponent that they currently have at this level of the VCL. I'm liking that Snarly is able to shine a little bit more under the guidance and the direction here of Ocean to get those 2 opening kills.
Last round of the half, and we get a timeout from TWT. Now each team has used one, and wondering, I mean, just the fact that we kind of, I don't know where we really set our expectations at for TWT, since they are just such unknowns. But the fact that they are just going toe-to-toe with a team like QOR, and it makes you wonder how much are our nerves playing a factor in, since there is a lot of inexperience from both sides, that you have a big match like this where every result matters. Yes, it's the top 5 that qualify out of the 6, but you want to also have something to learn from. You want to make a statement in a match like this.
You're definitely seeing right now on the left side of your screen, Mame is trying to call things out and work out the timeout with Shinobi, most likely, as the coach here that you don't see on the screen with the camera. But I think at this point, it's to try to discuss how they stop this continuous pressure that QOR switched over from rushing the A site to defaulting mid control. And when you're trying to play a little bit more passively and let them scale up, they're actually losing those fights. And then as they lose fights, they're caught on rotates and everybody's just one-tapping them off different parts of the map here for QOR. So for TWT, will they try to rush up more and take more pressure towards the mid? And from the looks of it, it's more towards this A side and trying to find some off-angle positions because they don't have rifle, they don't have ops to work with either. They just want to leave until like some sort of, hey, let's just trap the A side and gamble that QOR is going to work and finish on A.
And TWT aren't doing stupid peeks. They're not kind of like looking around mid when they don't hear anything. So QOR like waiting mid for something like that, and Pancakes turns around and sees, okay, we know you guys are walking around mid, and they had their eyes set at the right spot. TWT have a very balanced defense where, yes, they don't have eyes and ears on mid, but they have all their entries covered.
That is such a crucial kill because look at that kill that you just got from Pancakes and where QOR is rotating through. Right where TWT wants them. Into a trap play, off-angle play, cage and trip on the left side. And you're trying to get something out of Will.
And also out of this pit and the Hunter's Fury in this half. QOR, this is going to be an explosive last round of the half. And it starts out well, able to even things up. And even when when QOR were flashed, Will dashes out and still holds his own. How does he deal with this pressure with a few players on the other side? He got some damage, a little bit of damage into Nerve. And Will has to call for reinforcements. Behind him is Neptune. Will doesn't even need it. Few kills now, but QOR still managed to get the plant down. Will is on the other side of this pyramid, and Nerve doesn't know when he's gonna swing out, and that's the 3rd one from Will.
That is well done as well, not only from Will, but from Neptune to support him, because when they were getting overwhelmed after Mummy dies, those flashes that came in the front of the Viper wall slowed down any aggression that QOR was trying to do towards main, which allowed Will to get that 1v1 against Snarly, drop that KO, and a second flash came through for Will to reposition. After here, look at this flash that comes across the screen. He gets to this position, then gets the kill into Ziff, and allows here, it wasted enough time for TWT to rotate over and just win like a 4 versus 2 no matter what, even if Will died. So great way to end off the half, off the timeout that was called out here by Mame and by Shinobi. They tie things up on a 6-6 scoreline and keep things very close. T-Dog has so much Dr. Pepper, by the way, on his screen. Holy hell. I know it's a meme because this is not his bedroom anymore, and he still brought all that Dr. Pepper to the office.
I didn't even notice the pyramid. I was looking at the left side where everybody had, or 2 people had LED kind of signs with their names on it. I thought that was
Somebody
pretty legit.
check his sugar level.
See if that gives him the energy, though, for something like this. Now, QOR at least have some presence mid, and Zeldris peeking up like that, catching TWT off guard off pistols, as Will has his opposition on the other side of that wall and wants to see if he's still lurking around. But TWT still leaning towards the B side, but oh, look at Neptune, who's right on the other side of Snarly. And now he's just crossing through this tunnel, looking for action. And this could be a big opening for Neptune if he gets through it. But either way, TWT seem to be coming out on top.
Still a great answer back, though, from Will. So both duelists moving up and sneaking around and getting kills on important players around the map. So a 4-4 and TWT are pivoting towards this A side. The knife actually suppresses 2 players so they can actually cross over without any fear of getting spammed here from that second smoke that came up from Pancakes on the bridge.
Oh, Will, you hear him jumping. Ooh, that shot, and then through the smoke, disappears without a trace. And Core, the retake. Oh, the crunch, the crossfire is there. Wait, T-Dog at least gets 1 for his troubles instead of 0. That's a silver lining, I guess. 3 versus 2 for TWT with the spike planted. Now you know where Nerve is.
Nice shot.
I guess knew where you were the whole time, too.
Kenpecky's low.
1 enemy remaining.
Oh my god, Kenpecky can do it 1 versus 1, but time is not on Nerf's side. Kenpecky just has to play their life and says bye. Wasting your time. Hope you're paid hourly. The defuse starts. Kenpecky prevents it. Massive clutch.
Dude, what a round for both Kenpecky and for Will. Will, at a 4 versus 5 scenario, evens it up on a 4-4 and stays around being a thorn on the side of the rotate of Core. Back towards the halls. I mean, that shot right there, getting a second one onto T-Dog. Yes, he got wall banged, but you called it the whole time. Time. It allows Kenpecky to really just focus on one player and then play the clock on that 1 versus 1 to get that clutch out from Zippo. So well done by TWT to win that pistol where they had no business of winning.
That was looking dire. Get to see what the Outlaw can do. You know how aggressive Core can be sometimes, especially Zeldris. So hungry for kills. Now you have the Outlaw early peek, and T-Dog gets 2. Man, that was a showdown. And that leaves us with a 4 versus 3 on the defense, and now they've really shooken up TWT, who may just open this door and see who's going to answer on the other side, forcing this defense into cover. But with the cage allows Mummy to reposition. TWT just wanted to see what they could get.
Yeah, you saw the idea that TWT was trying to do when they had this side of the defense, right? Having those players in front of the A side to get the surprise kill when you don't get a pop flash to peek, and T-Dog gets 2 kills like that. 3-on-3 on an eco. Take this.
Oof. Zeldris was waiting for Will to come out of A main and didn't win, but T-Dog, taking a little bit of damage from the acid. You hear him stomping. Which side? Oh, the headshot! Ace potential for T-Dog.
30 seconds
Got the recon.
left.
Does this reveal Kenpecky? Well, you heard the shots. And, I thought that was a headshot. But Kenpecky cutting noise. And the ace for T-Dog. He's loud and he's proud.
He didn't get the ace before, but he'll get it now and chug that dumper pepper. Get loud there, T-Dog, known for all the trash talk off these rounds. You can still see him stayed in spawn like he's not even moving right now. He's like standing up, cheering with his team. Look at these shots coming out from this guy. There's a reason why he's so confident with his trash talk, because he has these shots to follow up his trash talk. This guy walks the walk, definitely, when he trash talks. So I love it right now. That breaks the econ coming out from TWT. Momentum's back for Core. They have an op out. They have full rifles, and they could snowball these rounds on defense.
This is still so close. Pistols against rifles. As Core want to take this momentum and run with it. But TWT, together we are terrific, and together we will go down or fight trying. As they open the door, grab the attention of Core as T-Dog sprays and prays, throws the shock bolt, does damage to TWT, but they fire right back. And this has been a close round. Snarly, good lineup, and win against Will. At least Pancakes was able to pick up a Vandal, so it's not impossible for TWT.
He has a timing.
Caught him throwing, caught him lacking. And it's another gun for it. Oh. Okay, now TWT have guns, and look, they're able to pull this off against Zeldris, who's now going to save the op.
No. He's going to pivot to B.
Oh,
he
okay,
knows
good,
right now
good.
that because Zeldris is towards the A site, that they're going to like, oh, we have an opening. Let's pick a spike and rush towards this B site. And that's where Zeldris is going, trying to catch them on the rotate.
Right there. 30
Yeah,
seconds
after a
left.
week, maybe it is winnable with Zeldris on your team. 1v2, certainly doable.
They'll have no idea.
TWT against pistols, against rifles. Remember, this could be a thrifty for
planted.
TWT. They get the plant.
My God.
Ooh, Pancakes managed to get out before the op lasered in. Kenpecky watching mid. Zeldris knows to check this corner. And this is so awkward to do with an op at close range.
One enemy remaining.
Slowly but surely finds the body in a 1v1 versus Kanpeki, who's got to just waste time. The spike is planted. The advantage is for TWT, but tap on the spike gets Kanpeki out of hiding, and Zeldris clutches.
What a clutch coming out from Zeldris. It was smart place on both sides. Yeah, buy the energy capsule with that spray on top of that too. We'll get our promotion out for partnership capsules all over the place. But Zippo clutch coming out. Beautiful reads on both ends. I gotta say, putting up that wall and having Pancakes plant wherever he did so he's not in line of sight of Zeldris' rotate. They were aware of that. They just didn't know how close Zeldris is gonna be. And towards the end, he had a perfect timing, just like Kanpeki did right here, to get this first kill and win this one-on-one. Perfect read of where Kanpeki was going to rotate over for and allow QOR to scatter out of this and continue this lead that they have against TWT, where again, another one of those rounds where he had no business winning.
Get out of my way.
I like just the initial push out of TWT. Just, you know, you had pistols, you lived together, died together, and made that so close. Almost a thrifty. It's so fun. But QOR now lead by 1 round and hope to save their economy, ride that momentum again. And ooh, Will is 30 HP, got the knives, flies like a bird and crashes like a meteor. And QOR fight tooth and nail. 3 versus 3 now, and the spike is down. Neptune recovers it, but they don't want to plan because they don't know where QOR could be coming from, and QOR are taking their time.
Yeah.
And they have the owl drone.
They're waiting for the next cycle of fuel to come out here from Kanpeki so they can bring up the wall again, potentially even avoid this owl drone. But the knife even pings too, so they can't even bring up the wall. They have to just cut noise and just wait, and hopefully that the defenders don't close in the gap against them.
And Zeldris has the op, so doesn't want to go styling in. It's just gonna hope that they can draw them out, get a sight on them, and what a flash! And Mame picks up the kill.
So smart.
There's only 2 left.
Standing.
And Zeldris still has the op, and he says, please, someone look at me. I am gonna win this.
Spike planted.
Plant down for TWT. 1 versus 3. Zeldris can't clutch this time, and it's 8-8.
When it comes down to just thinking on the fly and using your util for yourself and working together, it doesn't matter about the macro, it's at the micro at this point. For him to call out the flash from Neptune, to get that pick, and usually at that moment, you're out in the open. He actually already placed the cage on the ground so he could pop it up and escape on time, create some sort of way for his teammates to cross over for a plant, and then allow a 3-on-1 to happen because he picks up another kill. Mummy's freaking insane. I love watching this guy so far on these 2 halves. And now they tie up an 8-8 scoreline where QOR is currently broke. And they're trying to go for an aggressive push towards B main. And the knife spots nobody, so it's a free orb at least for Zeldris to pop knives.
Okay. Knives out. Zeldris trying to be part of that sequel. Oh, traveling deep, and I wonder if Mame hears this. Definitely doesn't know. And the knife
knows now.
Wishes past his head. Mame has the dual knives, left, right, dip, dive, dodge. And Mame doesn't get out alive, but it bots time. It was a distraction. TWT got the place down at A, and this is a heavy flank. QOR managed to all coalesce through this mid cut. TWT have a star in place. Kanpeki hoses down 1. And TWT even things up 4-4 apiece with Kanpeki having a pit, but obviously not even near the site to use it, hoping to just catch any other flankers because QOR have been all over the place. But QOR not pressing the issue, and time is running out.
Yeah.
Zeldris has been spotted, and Will is not gonna push his luck, and he does, and he pays for it, but still a round for TWT.
Well done. I still think this was good right now. What they were trying to do is you saw like, hey, why are they leaving the site here towards the A site and going towards the spawn? They wanted to use Zeldris with the Phantom that they picked up to do more econ damage, and as the rest are going to try to escape through the radius of the spike, hopefully it's towards the spawn where they have the Sheriff to work with and do more econ damage. And even then, if TWT escapes from A main, then at least you die from spike, and you don't allow any orbs to get picked up here for TWT, and more ult cycles to come through towards the later rounds, because these are getting into very, very important swing rounds, especially for QOR, when you're investing so much every single round into an operator. You almost have to be flawless and pristine in the rounds moving forward. If not, you'll see TWT move away with this first map.
Oh, Zeldris. Already been revealed that he's close, and TWT, mad respect, not even gonna touch it. Trying a different angle, though, is you see Pancakes going through that mid-tunnel. Not looking to open that door, not looking to test the waters quite yet. But does have some important ears around the A site. And that's something TWT have to balance is what information can they get traveling through mid. The Cosmic Divide has been used, and the B site trigger has been pulled, and it's all up to Mame and, Ziv and the other to hold it down. And Ziv does a good job of at least taking one with him at 18 HP. He gets rolled over, and TWT will get a plant.
That is so nice. The Cosmic Divide coming out from Pancake, so here rotates at the same time, has a perfect timing to get the backstab there onto the Opera rotating away. That was Zeldris. So with that, it allows here TWT to move into spite, the site, even get a pit towards spawn and really funnel and not allow Core to go for a retake. So they're instantly going to save this operator for the last two players of T-Dog and Snarly and try to use this in the next round. But that was a beautiful execution off maybe the question marks as to why some teams are trying to use an Astra on this map where it's unorthodox to see a double controller play, usually on a map like Breeze. So well done. It works out for the way they want to play the map. Snarly, this is a shot. It's not looking good. Being concussed. And getting pushed.
Wait!
Still save the op. No, he didn't save the op.
Wait.
He didn't run over to pick up the op. They lost it. They don't have an op. They have an outlaw. Maybe.
Outlaw.
Marshall now.
Baby up. Budget up.
Yeah.
Marshall. Not as cool, but...
Yeah. Now that's like a pebble gun.
All right, Core. Calling the timeout after that one. TWT definitely starting to pick up some momentum after Core were able to halt the potential thrifty that came out. And it's been up to Zeldris, I feel like, to start clutching and going crazy. But even he's been met by some serious competition by TWT.
He even opens the fridge and then puts the hand to the camera. How much are you getting for this, T-Dog? You're hilarious. I love this guy. I love T-Dog. Sorry, that just threw me off. I have no idea what I have to do in analysis now. I just love T-Dog. That's all I'm going to say.
And his team loves him too. I heard he's like a vocal, really outgoing player, and you need the vibes to be good, especially in situations like this. Hopefully you're getting energized from the soda, because Core, I don't know where their expectations were at least they think they can beat anyone, and I think if you look at a team as like inexperienced and less known as TWT, you should expect to come into this match confident, like you should be winning, and this is Core's map pick, and for this to not to be as close, I'm a little bit surprised.
Yeah, it comes down to very similar game plans that both teams are doing on defense, right? Just give up middle and try to work towards turtling towards the site and hoping to have good retakes and hoping to catch lurkers around the rotates. With that solo play towards the back of the site, Zip falls.
Love the fast execute. Kind of one of the quickest ones we've seen out of TWT to not let Core have the chance to rotate in position to support that anchoring cipher.
I know exactly where
TWT able to use that neural theft from Mame. Know where these rotations could be coming from, mainly revealing Zeldris in mid and the flank from Nerve, who manages to at least preserve their own life and wait for the crunch, but Zeldris is taking care of mid, and the flank from Core is not working out.
Oh my.
And Nerve gets overwhelmed in a 1v2, can't pull it off, and TWT have crossed their T's, dotted the I's. Great execute.
They had a great timing at least, though, on trying to pinch towards that B main for Core, but Nerve has to be so pissed that his stinger bullets were not connecting onto onto Neptune at the bottom of the window. If he actually did get that pick onto Neptune, that would have pulled potentially, I think that was Will towards the elbow to come back and support and go for the trade, which then would allow here this lurker on the elbow to come back and get the kill, and allow here Core to come back in the retake towards that B site. Nonetheless, though, it was a smaller buy that you had on the defensive side. They almost got something done with it, but unfortunately couldn't capitalize on too much econ damage, which allows here for them to get another op. And with this other op that comes out, they're actually trying to call a timeout for TWT, the last timeout of this map for both of these teams. So TWT are probably trying to run Hail Marys against the operator of Zeldris and making sure here that, as you mentioned, they dot the I's, cross the T's, and just close out this map against their opponent's map pick.
And that's 4 rounds in a row by TWT. I'm surprised they're taking a timeout because I'd want to bring that fire and keep giving it to QOR in that way, because that was a great round out of TWT. And now that they're fully warmed up in this map, they're 2 rounds away from winning the map. And I don't know, with all the fans in chat, is this an upset? Is it not?
Well,
I love getting to know the teams, and QOR left some time to chat as well.
It makes sense that you're calling your timeout right after as well, because QOR called a timeout 2 rounds ago until they went into the half buy. So the timeout that they called was for this very round right here. So TWT is going to continue to stop the momentum off the timeout that was called by Ocean to try to get something done here. And it's fighting towards the halls against a Zeldris glass cannon op to start things off, but it's smoked out and they have to reposition Zeldris.
Now having some eyes over at A. This could be a nice place to push into, and Zeldris is looking at mid and could be
so nice.
Picking off Mame, and great first blood by TWT. Now the engines are go, pedal to the metal, jump into the A side, and the only one anchoring this is Nerve, and you can't escape, but you got the support of Zeldris in the back line, and TWT trying to coalesce. And this is tough. 4 versus 3 now for this offense. And Zeldris now will be going on a flank, hoping to challenge Pancakes, playing through A main, and he's stomping away. And this is an important engagement as Zeldris hopes to close in TWT. They are going to manage to get TWT can get the plant down over on the right side of pyramids. They keep their eyes at the backside in mid, and Pancakes holds down the flank. Cosmic divide now from Pancakes to protect themselves from the backside, keep their focus on the mid cuts, and now they're worried. They get forced out by some KO utility, and QOR, man, just could not stop Pancakes in time.
What a big round there by Together We're Terrific. How to play against the operator of Zeldris. They start with the first smoke to actually get him out of position from A halls to look towards A heaven, towards A nest rather. And as he rotates over, that's where the 2 players start lurking up towards the halls. And then when the other smoke comes up, they reposition Zeldris on the other side. But as the smoke dissipates, those 2 guys already got the kill into the back halls again, opening up the A site. And the biggest kill had to come out for Zeldris on that flank onto Pancakes. If it was for that kill, it would have been a core round. But that triple kill coming out from Pancakes puts them at map point. So well done there on a full execution from A to Z for Together We're Terrific. What a mouthful to say that name.
That's why I've been sticking to TWT.
Yeah, and I was trying to abbreviate it, but I'm afraid to abbreviate it the wrong way. So I'm just fumbling the whole way to say it. Together We Are Terrific.
Let's not get in more trouble. But T-Dog got the owl drone looking around. TWT free to push up. They got their KO in tunnel looking around.
My eyes are down.
Okay, Ziv might have smelled something over at mid and is keeping his eyes firm over there. TWT slowing things down, 1 round away from taking the map. Dashing in is Will. And he's got the Sova.
Wow.
And I think it got flashed by something. I don't know, but that Sova got locked down. Perfect synergy out of TWT, and Nerve picks up 2 with the Guardian. He hopes to anchor once and for all now that Zeldris is back up. You thought you were feeling confident, but Nerve could not hold on to pyramids in time, and it's a long-range duel between Zeldris and Pancakes. And Zeldris patient and beautiful shots as QOR in a 3 versus 1. Need to seal the deal and hope to catch up in the score.
Beautiful anchor by Zeldris and Nerve towards that side, because you mentioned it was a beautiful pop flash to drop the first player at the staircase, and I think it was T-Dog. And he had 2 Guardians just basically holding it down from grab, and then in the back of yellow, there you go, T-Dog dying right there. But after Nerve gets these kills in the front and back of the site, allowing Zeldris to really get free kills because everybody's so hyper-focused on Neptune. Sorry, not on Neptune, on Nerve at this point, that it was perfect there for QOR to be able to stay alive in this first map. Change of pace for TWT. They're looking to do something very similar to QOR on their attack side. Instead of a dash, it's a walk-up contact. QOR be ready for this.
Oh, a lot of noise. Dashing in. TWT start off with first blood. Will picking things up after having a quiet start. Now he's loud and he's proud. And it's left with a 3v3 as the dust settles It's only TWT on the A side, and Kanpeki catches the mid rotations. He still has Snarly to deal with, and Kanpeki with the second one. This round seems assured by TWT, and it's up to Ziff to save this map for QOR. Now around Neptune, spot his elbow and sets up the bait and switch. And TWT take the map.
What a nice, beautiful round this time from TWT. And I apologize. It looks like I wasn't familiar with their game at all. They really came out with a game plan at this point here for TWT. The amount of pop flashes that came out there from Kanpeki to allow Will to get these openings on the attack side has been pivotal here to allow TWT to activate lurks and activate pulse plant positions that worked out perfectly for them in the end.
That was really fun. Like, we got the battle of the jets, one popping off at the start, Will picking things up. It's hard to fit in those shoes of the duelist, and he's doing fantastic. TWT are terrific. It's in the name.
Yep.
They take map number 1. They're on series point. We're gonna throw it to a break. When we get back, we'll have our next one.
Though QOR impressed in their first open qualifier showing, they bowed out after losses to SAD and Thinking Men. However, given the strength of these opponents, QOR's chances looked pretty good heading into open qualifier 2, given they could carry over that momentum. And that they did, qualifying with a win over Blinn Esports.
And now we're looking at QOR. One swing, one hit. And that is it. They are your next team making it to the VCL.
The team is full of familiar faces, with the core being made up of former DSG players Nerve and Ziff, as well as Coach Ocean. In addition to this, Zeldris, formerly of OR Esports, takes on the mantle of primary duelist and was absolutely on fire during the team's run to qualification, with some absurd stats in their series against Blinn. It's not all about the firepower though, as QOR has a great foundation as well. Snarly is by far the longest tenured member of the team and has been competing under the banner since its very creation. Then there's T-Dog to round out the 5, most recently known for his stint on Shopify Rebellion's coaching staff, now taking on the role of IGL. The pieces for success are there. Now, it comes down to execution, as QOR will need to be at their absolute peak to beat out the 11 other teams and challengers for a spot in VCT Americas.
Face.